Well, I never got too far in hockey, but I had a great time of it. I grew up right on the pond on the Mianus River in New York, and it was pretty far south in New York, so it didn't freeze all that often, but when it froze, we got the whole neighborhood out, and it was the most intergenerational sort of thing that went on. We had my neighbor, Steve Melker, was an incredible hockey player. He would pass it around. He sort of set the standard. So we had kids, neighboring kids. We had my dad came out, my mom came out. Everyone tried their hand at it. So this was 2-3 generations playing hockey out on the pond and in the neighborhood. And we had a big inlet where the Mianus River came into the pond, which is an old sand and gravel pit. And we lost the puck every third day playing out there. And it was always a question of who would go furthest to the edge of that opening where the ice got thin. So it always went for the youngest and lightest. So my younger brother was usually the one who crept out toward the edge to retrieve pucks that were in the danger zone before someone called him back. But I'm just so excited to have a rink right here. I have 2 young kids, a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. And for wintertime around here, when the ice is it's unpredictable. This gives us ice a lot longer. Don't have to worry about falling through. We can do this after school. We can do it evenings, and I'm just excited to get the kids out, do something fun on the weekdays and weekends, and also have that same intergenerational thing going on in the community. So I'm excited about the community piece of this, and specifically for DRA to have this piece of land that can accommodate this, to be out there and invite the community in to enjoy the space right there at Round Top in the center of the action. So I'm really hopeful this will have lots of community benefits, and I think it will.
I just can't commend this film more to your interest or to your liking that way, because pond hockey has been a part of my life for probably 65 years. I'm 65 years old, and I've been playing pond hockey for at least 62 of those 65 years. I started when I was 3 years old on a pond called Turtle Pond in Middlebury, Connecticut, and whenever the ice made up, from the first time it made up to the first time we would drop through the ice around March or maybe even in April, we would play pond hockey almost every afternoon and certainly every single weekend. But there was a crew out there every Saturday afternoon, every Sunday afternoon, and the crew was always people anywhere from about 4 years of age to 84 years of age playing pond hockey. Doctors, lawyers, ministers, teachers, everyone there in the village, we all seem to play it together. So pond hockey has been a part of my life, as I say now, for at least 62 years. I did play it in high school. I went away to a preparatory school and then at Bowdoin College. And, but as soon as I started my career, which was beginning out on Manhegan Island, Maine, in the one-room schoolhouse, I had all 14 of my children in the Manhegan Island School out there on the ice pond playing pond hockey every afternoon as well. So I've always encouraged the individuals who've been around me to play pond hockey. And right now, for the last 33 years, I've been involved in a program called the Carpenter's Boat Shop. And for 33 years, we too always set up our rink probably around mid-December and play until about mid-March. And we always play with 5 basic rules, and we've always been doing that. In fact, I've been playing with 5 basic rules for the 60 years or so I've been playing. But the 5 rules are always no lifting the puck, no swearing whatsoever, no hurting any individual, either your opponent or your associate, no name calling, either your opponent or your associate, and the last is always no arguing with the referee. And the oldest person on the rink is always the referee. And the final is that the last goal always ties, just to remind people of the importance of the real significance of pond hockey, that it doesn't matter who wins. The only thing that's important is to have a wonderful, a good time, lots of good fellowship, and a lot of laughter. So again, it has just brought great joy to me personally and to all the people I've been involved with for those 62 years. I'm deeply grateful for pond hockey.
Wow, our own skating rink in Damariscotta, I can't believe it. You know, I played hockey for 50 years. Unfortunately, you know, the body breaks down and you can't play. So anyway, to skate on the ponds originally, I mean, we were very lucky. I grew up north of Boston. There was ponds all around, but every pond had its own characteristic in town. I learned to skate in a pond called Shins Pond, and I can remember not going near where the water came in because you could fall in, but I remember Shins Pond being like glass, and that's where I learned to skate. Then as I learned to skate, I moved around to different ponds that had different levels of ability. And I can remember going to the pond called Black Joe's Pond, and that's where I first got my look up at my idols. These guys could skate like the wind, and I wanted to play like them. And if I could be on one of their teams, if we threw our sticks in the middle and I got picked by somebody who I thought was one of the greatest hockey players in the world, I was so excited. And the fact of the matter, if that person ever passed you the puck and you scored a goal, life was good. So the fact that we're going to have a rink here, I hope people utilize this. I'm very concerned that I don't see a lot of kids out playing like in the old days. So I hope that this brings people out of the house in the wintertime. And I know the community is behind it, and I know we have a great committee. So enjoy the film, and hopefully we'll see you out on the rink.
Yes, my name is Betty Hewson, and I live here at Schooner Cove in Damariscotta. And in the late 30s, when I was a young girl, I lived outside of Boston in Belmont, Massachusetts, and right across Route 2, there was a pond called Spy Pond where we skated. My brother and I would go down to Spy Pond, and he would join the boys at one end of the pond. And of course, the girls couldn't play hockey. That's where the boys were playing hockey. We were at the other end of the pond, and we were doing our little figures and skating around. And I, for one, was longing to be down playing hockey with the boys, but it was at a segregated time, and so that was something that would come about in my future. And I guess that's it. Thank you.
I'm Bobby Atkinson, and I also live at Schooner Cove. And I grew up in a small town outside of Boston, and actually started skating at about 4 with my aunt's black skates, where I had to stuff a lot of stockings in them. And we were skating on an ice pond. And so here and there were some holes where they'd cut out the ice, and one day I actually fell in, and my sisters had to rescue me. But I always skated outdoors. I preferred that. And of course, when I was a kid, Sonia Henning was very, very important. And we all wanted to learn how to do all those figures she did. And of course, there were boys that were playing hockey nearby and always got in our way, but we managed to have a lot of fun. And so that's what I had experienced as skating. Yes.
It was great to be outdoors.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Sean Moran, and I grew up in Chelmsford, Massachusetts. I played a lot of pond hockey when I was a kid. My first memory of pond hockey was actually not a pond. One of the next door neighbors' dad would leave the hose running all night, and we'd play in his backyard there, and we'd play with the little kids would play with the high school kids, and we'd get in there and skate around, and that was really my first exposure to hockey, and I really loved it from the beginning. After a while, they didn't build that rink, so we had to find another place to play. There was a swamp down the road from my house, and that froze, and we discovered that. And that was probably one of the most interesting places I've ever played hockey, because they were all tree stumps sticking out. So you would use the tree stumps to shield the puck and sort of protect you while you were skating around, and it was pretty good for stick handling and agility. After that, my next memory was Crooked Spring Pond. A bunch of kids that, by this time we were playing pee-wee hockey. We used to go down to this pond in a neighborhood where there were a lot of hockey players, and we had little nets and things like that. And we'd play all winter. I'd leave the house right after school with my stick, and skates, and my mother wouldn't expect me home until well after dark. The pond was neat, but it was a little stream that went through it, and you had to be careful with the puck. If you shot it too hard, it went in the stream, and if you shot it, you had to get it. So, so we all went swimming at one time or another, but we all survived. But it was great to get us out and playing. And I don't think we played any video games back then. We just played pond hockey. Summer we played street hockey.
Hi, my name's Matt Newman. I'm an attorney at Lynch & Newman here in Damariscotta. And I just wanted to say what a terrific idea I think this is, how grateful I am to DRA and Matt Filler and Stephen Huffnagel for putting this together. When I first found out about this project, I called Stephen and later talked to Matt, and I told them both the same thing. I said it's impossible for me to overstate my enthusiasm for this project. I grew up in Michigan, and I learned to skate outdoors, and for me, learning to skate was a way for me to connect with my older brothers. I have three older brothers, two of whom were avid hockey players, but one was 6 years older than me, another one is 9 years older than me, and learning how to skate and getting out on the municipal rink with them was a way for me to really, it was sort of a rite of passage. I could finally play games with them, and the beautiful thing about pond hockey or pickup hockey, outdoor hockey, is that you'll see these games where the age of the participants ranges from 6 to 60, and everyone is having a great time, and everyone seems to understand the way things, the informal rules of pickup outdoor hockey is one of the things I love. Some of those unofficial rules for the unacquainted are always try and pass to the youngest player possible whenever you can. No slap shots. Keep the puck down and have a good time. And I just think that the enthusiasm that I already sense in the community is really tremendous. And I think this is going to be a great success. When I grew up playing in Michigan, oftentimes I would start my day at formal hockey practice, go home, change out of my clothes, get my skates, and head down and spend really the rest of the day skating with friends. The place where I learned, the outdoor rink where I learned, were tennis courts that were frozen over, and one side of one court was one rink, and the other side of the courts were another rink. They had their own boards, and then there was also a general skating area on the other side of the park. So, you'd start and you'd play hockey for a while, and then you'd go over to the general skating rink and you'd play tag or pom-pom or whatever else. There was a warming hut where you could go have lunch. So, you'd find you were spending 5, 6, 7 hours in skates. And it was just a great way to grow up. It was a great way to enjoy the winter close to home. And like I say, for me, what made it so special is a lot of I obviously was much younger than my brothers, so I couldn't play formal sports or organized sports with them, and this was a way for me to at least play with them informally and learn the sport from them. I think that although I went on to play organized hockey, after high school, like a lot of people, I sort of I just fell out of practice and didn't play for about 10 or 15 years. And when I moved to Maine in 2002, I was really excited that there were some outdoor rinks where I could, just throw on some skates and play with buddies and really sort of renew my passion and my love for the sport of hockey. So I think this is great. I think this is going to be a tremendous success. I think, as in all things, Damariscotta always proves itself to be an amazingly enthusiastic, and there's never any shortage of people willing to pitch in and volunteer for a worthwhile effort, and I certainly think this is one of those. So I'm looking forward to this winter and looking forward to seeing everyone out on the ice.
Hi, I'm Russ Smack. I'm a physician here at Miles Hospital in Damariscotta. Been here about 30 years. My first memories of skating were on a pond right in downtown Chicago almost, a place called Humboldt Park. There wasn't much we could do in the wintertime until the pond froze over. And they kept the lights on in that park, you know, till about midnight every night. So we were out there with blue toes and red noses, you know, about every night. Had a really good time with that, and it gave us a chance to be outside, because we lived in that park during the summertime. When I moved here to Maine, especially just to Round Pond, is where I've lived the last 28 years. First thing we found was a little pond up the road. Got to play hockey there with a bunch of friends, and taught my kids how to skate on that pond. So it's always meant a lot to me, and I think this is a great idea, having this pond at Round Top. That's going to be fantastic for the community.
We're really excited about this new ice rink because we have so many fond memories of spending time on the ice when we were young, because we grew up across the street from each other and we had this great pond down the hill from our houses.
Blood's Pond.
Sometimes could be sort of bloody.
Well, Blood's Pond actually was not a hockey pond, although we did have sticks and pucks and so forth. And a lot of us used to walk all the way down the hill in our skates on gravel. So they weren't very sharp and so forth. But we did a lot of carousing on the ice. Blood's Pond also had a very, very steep hill that led down onto it. And we tobogganed and sledded on that hill, shooting us all the way across the ice and into the road. So that could be a problem. My best friend one time got knocked out that way, and the fire trucks had to come and revive him. We did a lot of skating. At the outlet of the pond, there was a soft spot that most of us at one time or another fell through, but it was only about 3 feet deep, so we just went home with wet pants. What I remember is Susan's older sister, Martha, was always trying to teach me how to skate backwards. She never really taught me. She just kept saying, "This is how you do it," and she'd do it. But Blood's Pond was very much part of the neighborhood, and we had a pretty lively neighborhood with probably 10, 15 kids, and we were down there all the time, at nighttime as well. And hockey was a good thing, too. It wasn't an organized sport. In fact, if anything should characterize it, it was highly unorganized. I don't think Susan ever played hockey, though. I don't remember that, even though her father was the captain of UMass's hockey team a million years ago.
Hi, I'm Dirk Poole. I'm here at my business. I'm so happy that there's going to be a new ice skating rink in town. I played and grew up in Massachusetts playing on a small pond behind my house called Wright's Pond. My daughters started playing hockey up here at MRC, and they've never been on an outdoor rink playing, so it's going to be really exciting to have this right in town for everybody to use.
As you can see, there's quite a few local people, and probably people you know, who learned how to skate on a pond and really love skating outdoors. Myself, I grew up in Cranston, Rhode Island back in the early 50s, and there was only one indoor rink in the whole state. So anybody that wanted to play hockey had to learn how to skate on a pond. And our local pond was called the Dump, believe it or not, but it was a great skating place, and on a weekend you'd be out there from first light until it got dark. And even though I went on to play high school and college hockey, skating on a pond is still my greatest thrill, and I look forward to doing that probably more than anything else. Today you're going to see a wonderful film called Pond Hockey, which covers the National Pond Hockey Championships. We appreciate you coming to this movie and hope you all take use of our new rink at the DRA Center on Business Route 1. Thank you.